Hello, I'm Vicki Laura with Modern Jewelry Creators. Thank you so much for selecting this video today. It has been a minute since I have posted some regular jewelry content, so I'm excited to share some new designs with you. The holidays are a good time to do that. We have several new designs we put out, or I should say special designs we put out only at the holidays, and so I'll be doing kind of a short series of all those to share them with you, starting with today's, which is our sparkling snowflake earring. Here's a little close-up of her. How's that pretty? So pretty. What a look. What a look. And all these are available as kits. Of course, I'll leave a link below, but at least in these videos, I want to share you what I've used and definitely give you a few tips and things. The full tutorial is available when you purchase the kit. The kit's only $19.50, so less than $20. You get all the materials and our full, instruction sheets that have all the step-by-step pictures and then access to the video tutorial. But I at least want to show you what I used and a couple little tips. In case you have all the materials yourself or you want to just dive into it. So she's a beauty. This earring, what I love about this earring is that you can make several sizes or even different design variations on her, right? So this is the full kind of statement earring. She's 3 inches from ear wire to chain. And this is kind of the larger design. But you can make it smaller, more of a medium size, or even smaller still into our little small size. And so this is the smallest one I made, and this one is about 1.5 inches wire to tip, so about half the size. And it doesn't have the chains or the little extra dangles on the ends, and so add those variations or not, take them away, whatever you want to do. I think there's a lot of fun things to do. Our kit uses the half silver metallic crystal, but if you wanted to do, other colors, that would be fun as well. Okay, so I want to show you a couple, things about this earring. So they all start out, right, as these little snowflake forms that I'm sure you may have seen at the craft store or whatever to make your holiday ornaments, but we're going to use them for the base for our jewelry. Now, the absolute most important thing is to understand that these are stainless steel, and so they cannot be cut with your good jewelry cutter. It will ruin them. You definitely want to use a heavy-duty cutter. This is a memory wire cutter, or if you have like a florist cutter to cut artificial flowers, or any kind of heavy-duty cutter you have in the garage, just don't use your good jewelry cutter, because your jewelry cutters are made to cut wire beautifully, right? And if you put it through stainless steel, it'll put a big divot right in it, and that includes wires like Bead or Snowflake. It'll all have stainless steel inside, so it's very important to use a heavy-duty cutter. Now, let's see. I'm gonna maybe tip the camera down. Sorry, it's been so long since I've done this, and show you a couple tips that I use when making these. As beaders, we often think when we see a design, oh yeah, I get it, I could totally make that, and that's often true. But many designs can be deceiving and definitely trickier than they look, and that includes this one for sure. I promise, if it's a really easy tutorial, I'm happy to do it quickly to show you. But this one, I haven't made this design in about 5 years or so, and it still took me a couple hours of ruining the forms and breaking crystals and figuring it all back out again, to make a brand new tutorial and instruction sheet, for the kit. So it's definitely trickier than it looks. And so it's just, I think, more economical to really, it works out cheaper to, purchase something like a kit for less than $20. And then if you love them, if it, you love it because it turned out great, then by all means go purchase all the materials separately. Don't buy 6 more kits or whatever. The forms are normally available in a package at the craft store for like $10, and then you need a couple strands of crystals. So it definitely works out cheaper to do the kit first, and then once you know how to make it beautifully without destroying anything, you can buy all the materials to make as many as you like. Okay, rant over. I do want to share a couple quick tips though. So I'm going to take the camera down. See, some things have not changed. I'm really, low editing and stuff. Okay, so the size or length you're going to cut this depends on the size of this crystal you're using, the size of the crystal you're using, and then how long or how big you want the earring to be. There's another reason why it's nice to have the kit, because I already did all those ratios for you. But so when I start these, I am measuring about 1 inch from the center, and just to make it easier, I'm going to use a marker right on the form on all of the little spokes or branches, or what, I guess snowflakes don't have branches, but whatever you want to call it, so that I know where to cut them, right? So I can cut it all down. Because if you try to string all the beads on like ahead of time, you can see all those on there, and then cut it down where the beads are going to all fall off, I promise. So you need to be able to cut it down first to make it easier. I've used a 3mm half metallic crystal for this. So a couple different tricks about that. When you use a metallic crystal, meaning there's a coating on it, it's easy for it to kind of fleck off, I guess, when you're using it. And also the stainless steel is thicker, than a lot of the holes are bigger. And so if it doesn't want to go on the wire, if you're having trouble getting it on the wire, it's probably because the coating, that metallic coating, is stuck like inside. So if you just take another piece of wire or a head pin to kind of stick it in there and clean out the metallic coating out of the hole, that will help. Another thing you could do is to cut the end again at a slant, right? So it's pointed. That'll help that get in there as well. And then sometimes it just doesn't fit and you have to use a different bead. But if you force it on there, it will break for sure. So I'm just going to string a few on here. And you want to be able to do the loop on the end right away, or the beads are going to fall off. And so to that end, I want about 1/2 inch of wire beyond the crystal to make the loop, because it's stainless steel wire. It's harder to bend, and so you've got to make a bigger loop than maybe you normally would. So we need more wire to do that. And I'm going to use the chain nose pliers to bend this wire back towards me first so I can roll it away. I want to be careful not to get too close to the crystal, or else I can break the crystal, or the coating can chip off. I'm going to use about the middle of the round nose pliers to roll that away to make the loop, because again, it needs to be bigger than a typical loop because of how stiff the stainless steel is, and you've got to make sure it's closed all the way, especially if we add the dangles and chains and things later to it. So you want to make those loops as soon as you string the beads on there. So let's see, one of the only other maybe tips I want to share here, otherwise the video will be super long, is it something like on the loops at the top for the ear wire, right? Most ear wires are kind of flat there. You want to be able to turn that ear wire perpendicular, because the loop at the top of the crystal or the snowflake, right? This loop is flat. You can't see the loop. It's coming back towards me. It doesn't turn this way. You could turn the loop at the top so it's facing forward to put the ear wire in it, but then you've got to make sure that loop is matching on both sides, that it's closed. It just looks a little wonky. I think it's easier to turn the loop on the ear wire, because all you have to do is put it in the chain nose and turn it perpendicular. Right, so now this loop is facing forward, and then it's easier to hook this in there, and you're not, again, not exposing the loop on the snowflake, which it just can tend to look a little jankier. I don't know how else to say it, unless it's looking perfect, you know. So I'm going to tip you back up. It's just all those little tips and tricks, which is why it's nice to have the kit and the video tutorial that goes with it as well. But there's just a couple tips around this design, and again, I will link everything below. I do want to share, we also made it as a pendant. It's maybe a lot of look, this size earring with the pendant. I would probably do the smaller one typically with the pendant, but you know, it's all good. There's nothing wrong with big sparkle. This pendant I've hooked into the side loops, but you can also do it this way, where I've just put the chain through the top loop like a veil, right? So this one you can wear a little bit longer, more like a pendant, I guess. And this one is better, I think, a little shorter because it's coming off the sides to kind of lay on the collarbone. And before anyone thinks this is like poking me, it's not at all. It's great. This is about 18 inches, and the other one was about 20, 25. And I just think it's beautiful. I think it lays really, really lovely. And so the kit is the earrings, but you can also add on a pendant if you want. So there's our tips for today, just to give you kind of a quick video to share this beautiful new design. And I will see you next time with another new one for the holidays. I have, I'm going to share this little, our holly berry bracelet. This is so cute. So if you're a weaver, this weave is pretty easy to figure out. So I'm happy to share this one, and lots of other pretty ones coming your way. Thanks so much for joining me, and until next time, sparkle brightly like the star that you are. Peace.